Hello everyone, just doing a basic EDC today. I'm just going to show you the things that are in my kit, a couple of variations as always. I've got sort of like a working on the block type setup, which is where I'm out, digging stuff up and planting things and ripping things apart and that sort of stuff. And then I've got my more basic sort of genteel, urban type things as well. So I'll roll it all into one. A lot of the stuff's the same for both. So to start with, this is the G-Shock watch. This is super basic Casio G-Shock, and this is all the watch I really need. I've had a look at getting into watches a little bit more, and I just can't bring myself to do it. This is super dinky, and there's probably even some better G-Shocks than this one that do it heaps better, but it does everything I need it to do. Haven't had to change the battery yet. Very low, issue. Nothing really is needed to be done. I endorse it. It's all I need. Next is my keys. Pretty boring, but I guess the thing of interest on my keys is this Phoenix EO3R. It's like a little flashlight. For a while, this was all I was doing, just the EO3R. My buddy Chris has got me onto a little pocket light, which has been doing quite well for me lately, so I'll get to that in a little bit, but my keys are pretty basic. Apart from that light, there is a pair of Uncle Bill sliver gripper tweezers, which certainly isn't winding down the rate of little ear hairs I'm getting, and I'm the kind of thing, once I feel I've got one, I can't get anything done until I've pulled it out. So with these, I can usually pretty blindly, I'm not sure if my wife did them yesterday, I can usually pretty blindly lock on and pull out an ear hair, so they're pretty good tweezers. Nice. Another little light I've tried, but I'm sort of probably not going to keep using, is the little EGTAC Teeny DX3E or E3. This one is good, and I love how it's USB-C rechargeable, but the switch is just so easy to knock when it's in your pocket and on your keys. So yeah, I'm just not quite sure what the solution is to that. I just would find myself continually knocking it on. So, but a good little around the house, keep on a dresser type thing, give it to a kid maybe. I'll probably lose it because it's small though. So don't know, this one is not as good as the Phoenix for me at the moment. So we'll see, but I've definitely given that a bit of a try. I generally don't do light reviews because people generally don't watch them. And when my views on video games get as much as my flashlight views, I sort of think, well, I understand that no one really cares about my views on video games. I just post those videos for catharsis. But when I post a light review, I must be very good at it because no one's really that interested. Because there are some light reviewers who get crazy views, but it's just not my thing, I think. So I'll cover my little light now, actually. So this is the one, and this is the EGTAC D3. And this is quite good. So what I like the most about it is in its standard configuration, it's either just max, strobe, or off, but generally just max or off. And you switch it to strobe by lightly pressing on the button, right? Because that's all I really ever use, just make it go on. But if you want to be a bit of a fancy lad, you can start programming it by loosening the switch up, and then you've got your different settings. So you've got like your moonlight, your mid, your high, all those sorts of things. There's a whole realm of programmability to this guy, I know. I just don't care because I just use it like this. Off, on. And that's me. That's my use. I use these little lights a whole lot. And usually my key one does fine, but this is quite nice to carry. And, I'm often, my late night round, I have to do it every night. It's like making sure taking the dog out. The dog has to like go down a step, so I have to usually help her with that because she's fucking ancient now. She goes down a step, I have to feed her, I have to walk to the chickens, shut their sort of secured door, make sure the rainwater is filling, or not the rainwater, make sure the river water is pumping full into the settling tank. So like the next few days of water are like full and settled, and then you turn that off. There's a few things that I do every day that I do need light for, and I do them like when it goes dark. So that's kind of what I am, a fairly decent avid torch user. But again, a lot of the little torches are just as good. And it's like, this is as good as probably your best torch was, 20 years ago. It's just torches have come so far. But this is great. This thing is great. So I think it's 1,000 lumens or something. Maybe it's even higher. God, so yeah. Maybe this is why no one watches my torch reviews, because I just don't care enough to learn all the shit. All I know is that this one really works for me. What I was surprised at, I thought I would dislike it that it wasn't rechargeable. So you need to get batteries and put them in it, and you can't just plug the thing into a recharger. So I've got some CR123s, and you can charge them separately. Right now I'm just running like the single-use camera battery type ones because it was all I could find around the place. But yeah, that was a thing I thought I would not like, but I actually don't care too much. So there you go. Moving on to my pen, the Keyring Customs EDK is still my pen. I'm looking at getting a tactile turn side click because I bought one from Tactile Turn for a friend of mine. He got promoted and I bought him a pen for it. I bought him the side click with the really nice ridgy finish. And tell you what, that was hard to give away once it was here. I was like, oh, I could just keep this and get him something else. But no, I had engraved his name on it, so that would have looked a bit silly. But geez, it was good. And so I'm going to look into getting one of those for myself. And that company, that pen got lost in shipping for ages. It took ages to get it. No fault of theirs. They refunded me like straight away. And this was just, I didn't play my reviewer card or anything like that. I was just like, oh, hey, I think it's lost. And they were just like, they must have good insurance or something. They refunded me immediately. And then, of course, when the torch arrived, I was like, oh, shit. So, of course, I contacted them and I was just like, let me pay you back because the torch, so why do you keep calling it a torch? Because the pen is here now. And, you know, we have this nice little exchange. But, yeah, I can just tell, good company. So, the Tactile Turn side click pen is the one I'm going to be getting next time I've got some spare scratch. So, there we are. But that's a great pen for now, this Keyring Customs. All I don't like is that this is really high up and so it sticks out of your pocket heaps. That's all. But everything else about it is good. Schmidt Easy Flow ink. Nice. Right, knife-wise, 4 pocket knives. Sorry, this is my EDC with 4 pocket knives. Well, there's 2 that I cycle through often, which is the Benchmade 945 and the TRM Neutron 2. So these are probably my 2 favorite, because I've actually used them a lot, pocket knives. Like I really like basically everything about both of these knives. They're 2 of my favorites. Another real favorite is my Alma Eagle HD. Is it the HD? No, this is the Eagle Ultralight. And this is just because it's like it was a grail knife. I've always wanted one. They've stopped making these in this way. Now you have to get them like in flippers in 8CR13. You know, these are like polished micarta AUS 8. Not great, but you know, just nice. There's something about this that I've always liked and wanted. Hard to quantify, but a lovely knife and really good user knife. And to be honest, the AOS 8's holding up quite well. Who would have thought? But yeah, that between that one and these 2, using a lot, just as my kind of getting around. And then when I'm out on the block and I want a folding knife to go with my fixed blade, which I carry a fixed blade when I'm out on the block, I am carrying this Spyderco Andela in K390. I joke about it because it's so boring. It's the most boring knife and it's like so uninteresting. It's just like a slightly bigger Delica and a slightly smaller Enduro and you can almost fall asleep while you're describing it. That's why the running gag is I'll talk about anything else when I do the reviews on these knives. Anyway, what kills a joke? So it's the same as the old frog joke, isn't it? You know, what's the difference between explaining a joke and... I can't even explain this joke. What is... Explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog. You learn a lot, but it dies in the process. Oh, wow. I am not on my A game today. Anyway, thanks for rolling along with me. Cool. But I usually carry fixed blades when I'm out on my block because it doesn't matter if they get dirty. There's nothing for dirt to get stuck in on a fixed blade. So first of all, I have a few of these Credly knives. Today, the one I'm using is the CPM 20 CV Mako. The Mako is a wonderful little fixed blade knife. If you haven't tried a Mako, I would recommend you do. If you're after a little fixed blade knife, they come in these amazing little sheaths for inside the pocket carry. You need this little sheath. It's so good and it's not too different as long as you've got big enough pockets. Not too different to carrying like a large folding knife and you get a fixed blade for it. Absolutely love little Mako knives. Love them, love them, love them. And now the Alex Stron, this is, I don't even know what it's called. This is just one of his medium-sized fixed blade knives. Alex is probably my favorite custom maker. And I think he's just part-time and my friend Chris sort of set me up with a few of his knives. This is an S45 VN steel, sort of like a a fixed stabilized bell handle. Comes with this nice little leather sheath outside, outside on the belt carry. And I just love it so much. His knives are just ground to cut really well, but I just think they look beautiful. He always has, it's like this, his little thing is this little hump here usually. Just everything about him is just perfect. Fixed blades are hard. There's so many fixed blade makers that most of them are so, many of them are so good, and it's just so hard for them to get a leg up. So, you know what? If I could point you towards Alex Dron, I don't think he needs the shout anymore. I think he's making more knives or selling more knives than he can make, or whatever it is. He's at his limit already, I think, so maybe don't. But between him, Rob Erickson, and Gary Creeley, yeah, good lads, good knives. And Shannon steel lads as well. If you want something in a wacky steel, Shannon has a really good basic beater knife style as well. Colin Shannon, check him out too. My wallet is this Bellroy wallet. It's been sat on nicely, pressing my ID cards and whatever this is in my back. I think this is just like my healthcare cards and things like that into the back. Nice sort of generic, leather folding billfold. Really nice, enjoying it. Sized up a little bit from my last one, but yeah, certainly happy with it, that's for sure. Bellroy. And while I'm on Bellroy, last time with my last EDC video, I had this starting to roll out. Yeah, let's just do the contents of this as well, because this is it's getting changed and modified a little bit as I've gone on, and it's working out really well for me. So I don't usually wear it, carrying it around, but it's usually just on the front seat of my car, because my kids are still in the back, where my kids, I've got 2 kids, once you start playing who gets to sit in the front, your life's just fucked. So they both sit in the back, fuck them is what I say. Right, so this gets to sit in the front seat. Righto, so what are we doing here? So last video I was agonizing on what kind of headphones I should get. I was just a boring basic bro and went and got my AirPods. AirPods again, the newer one. Well, wife bought them for me for my birthday. As everyone says, as every Apple fucking acolyte says, they do just work. And they work, so there you go. My AirPods, the new one's very boring. I have this as well. This is a Huawei, I can't even remember the brand. This is a Xiaomi charger, pretty good charger. It's bulky as shit, but it can charge your phone about 6 times before it goes flat. I think I've charged my phone twice and it's still on 79%. And I use it to beef up my AirPods. Just having portable power is good, even though mostly there is an outlet nearby. Sometimes it's nice to not have to need people in their stupid outlets, Next, I've got a thing of Bushman's. It's the peak of summer here at the moment. This is an insect repellent and also a fairly weak, but it's a substantial enough sunscreen you put it on your arms, and I always get burnt here. I mustn't do it properly. Put it on my arms. So a bit of a spray around, you can smear it on. Bushman's stuff. It's good. A mask, because those are the times we're living in. You're still supposed to wear a mask if you're in like a shop or something here. So fuck it, it's all good, I guess. There we go. And then, you know what? You see so many people get all upset about this sort of stuff, everything else. You know what they should all go and do? Grow some fucking potatoes. It's such a better use of your time. You get food, the satisfaction of planting and growing life from the ground. Something I really recommend doing rather than arguing about this sort of stuff everywhere. And then in the back pocket, I've got a thing of Isocol, which even before COVID, I was always carrying a thing of Isocol if I could, or a hand sanitizer of some sort, because people are gross. I'm gross, you're gross. So this is sort of a bit of a barrier between our grossness, unless you want to share your grossness with someone else. I carry a spare ink, which can sort of double as an emergency pen if you lose your pen. This is a Schmidt capless Easy Flow P8126, fits the Karas pens. And then my Swiss tool is my multi-tool of choice, and this rolls in here. There we are. So the Swiss tool is a wonderful little multi-tool, probably my favorite of the multi-tools, which is why it sits in my fancy lad man bag. So there we are. Cool. Now, last thing in this video, I'm going to show you, just because I thought you might be interested, my most beat up, most abused piece of gear that I own, because I thought that might be something that you'd be keen on seeing. So let's go out in the yard and let's find it. Alrighty, let's go and find my most abused tool. I'll show you the water first, I guess. This is one of those things I'm often fucking around with. This is full of like slow, like low pressure river water. We don't have municipal water here. And then this one's usually rainwater, but right now, because I made a fuck up and forgot to turn that one off, this one ran into this one, and oh, what a goose I am. Anyway, so I alternate between these three. And what you basically do is you let it fill up. It fills up really slowly because the water pressure is quite low on the river water. And then you let it settle. And then this pumps it out. The good thing about the river water is it's super duper cheap. So, it kind of works out. But I guess you pay a bit of power pumping, but actually not too much. Quite efficient pump, I think. Anyway, that's how the water works. But often I'm out because one of these will fill, they'll get low. And so you need to swap to the other one. Just a fair bit of tinkering. Well, not a fair bit, but enough tinkering that sometimes it does happen in the middle of the night, or when the last shower of the day happens or whatever, you need to go and swap the rainwater to whatever water or whatever. That's how it works. All right, let's go and find the most used tool. Here we are on the way through. Zucchinis almost at the end, and squash. Oh yeah, there's a squash still to be harvested. Zucchini's probably almost at the end of its life. The cucumbers are at the end of life. There hasn't been a new cucumber for a while. The zucchinis are still looking pretty strong, but not really bearing much fruit anymore. A couple of yellow cucumbers in there if I've been left too long or been overwatered. Whoops. That's the potatoes I pulled out there yesterday. These ones will come, actually, these went quite yellow quite rapidly, didn't they? Especially this one here. When they're that yellow, they need to start coming out, so that'll happen soon. Say hi to the chickens. Hey, chickens. And where are we? Stuff will burn, just some leaf matter that we burn. There it is. All right. My most abused bit of gear is here. Oh, windy. It is the Cold Steel Axe Gang Hatchet. This thing here just gets left pretty much in the side of this palm tree unless I think to do something else with it. It's kind of like a daily reminder that I hate this palm tree, but I'm sort of stuck with it because it does shelter the chickens a fair bit. But yeah, completely shitful things to have in your house. If you had more than one of these, it'd be like a full-time job to care for the prick, because it's just like, oh, that satisfaction every time. Fuck you, tree. These just, it doesn't even feel like, 'cause this is all just the beginnings of fronds. Right. So yeah, that's my most used tool. It just sits out here and it's used as a hammer, used as an axe, used as a pry bar, used as an everything to do every rough job that I need to do, pretty much. And maybe one day I'll use it to cut down this tree on the day that I no longer need this palm tree. God, I hate it. They just shed, like every time there's a windstorm, it just sheds like 3 of these these fronds grow like fucking grass. I don't know, all the boomers in the 70s all thought these were fucking amazing, so they all planted them everywhere in Australia, and now it's just they're just a mess. Look at it, it's just a fucking mess. You need to get special saws and things to care for them. Ugh, just dreadful. Hate it so much. But it does shelter the chickens, so I guess it's doing something right, isn't it? It's a good chickens. All right, guys, I'll leave you with it. Hope you've all had a nice day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.